You're listening to the REITE Club podcast, where the focus is all about helping you grow your real estate investment portfolio and live the life you want to live. Come grow with us and join our community at thereiteclub.com. And now your hosts, Sarah Larby and Alfonso Salemi.
I obviously love interviewing couples and just seeing, who does what and how they split tasks. And Francois and Jennifer, for example, they're a power couple. One complements the other in a certain way. Just curious from you, Joey, how are you guys now that you're both doing this full time, maybe just working together without, it's hard. I'm assuming it's hard to work with your spouse, but maybe for you guys, it's not. But how are you splitting the task and how are you dividing all of that and what it is that you each do?
So, typically I will take care of renovations and planning for those renovations. And we're working hand in hand in just about everything we're doing, but I can see a place pretty quickly and know how much we're going to spend without getting into too many details. So, I'm really involved in the acquisitions and project management, and Angela's more involved with the financing. And I have a background in dealing with contractors. I used to work in facilities. So, initially that was going to be the plan for me to take on as well. But because Angela is managing the budgets, it's also making sense for her to be involved in that. And she has a bit more of a design eye than I do. I have the things that she likes and she has the things that she likes. But, it makes more sense for her to be a bit more involved in that. So we're blending back and forth, but generally renovations and money.
We don't have super clear lanes yet.
That's okay. And that's how it becomes interesting. So Jennifer and I is the same thing. We're kind of, somebody has to decide at some point, but sometimes it's a give and take. So also with a kid, so this summer, thanks to all this freedom and this real estate, you did something quite interesting. I don't know if you'd like to share how you spent your summer, because that's something unusual and interesting.
Well, since we can work from anywhere, we decided to go to Moncton for the summer. My parents are there, so we stayed with them. It was supposed to be kind of a vacation, but we ended up picking up more properties. So what happened was we got there and realized that my parents needed different type of layout for their home. They were on board right away, so we got to house shopping for my parents, and in house shopping for my parents, found a triplex over by the university and another triplex over downtown. And we ended up helping them move. It was a lot of work, actually, that whole process, and then picking up some new properties. Plus, we had renovations going on 2 duplexes on High Street.
That's cool. So you've got obviously a lot of projects on the go, and now that you're both doing this full time, you don't have a T4 job anymore. Is that how you got into the JV piece, or were you starting to dabble in that before you left your job?
No, never. It was never even a concept in my brain before I left my job. We did a burr on our cottage. I told you we sold a couple of properties. We bought a cottage with cash. We renovated it. We got a nice lease. We refinanced it, but we got blocked by our debt to income ratio. So we ended up leaving some of the money in the property, and we were like, well, this is going to be a problem. How are we going to do this over and over again?
Yeah, we had all these big plans on how we were going to scale everything, and we were starting this business, and then all of a sudden we realized, oh, okay, banks aren't going to let us keep doing this.
So I heard a podcast, Andrew Hines with Mandy Branham, and we must have listened to that 5 times before we were like, people are going to give us their money and we're going to do the work. So it took a while for us to really let that concept sink in. And then it made sense, and that's what we did.
That's awesome. So do you mind if I ask how many joint ventures you have currently?
I think 12 right now.
Yeah. So 12 different partners, or with some partners you have multiple properties, or?
We have, hold on.
No multiples yet. But
Well,
that's
if you
just
can't
about to
rent in
happen.
earnest.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So it depends how you look at it.
Okay.
Let's say 12. We have 12 different partners, and we have a couple with one of the partners.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. And how do you mind sharing your structure? Are they corporations, or it's the old fashioned JV, they're on title and you have a side agreement, a JV agreement, or?
Most of them are that, but we have a new partner and we're going the corporation route with him because he's out of country, and we just formed a corporation and we just opened a corporate bank account for that corporation, and we're doing everything that way. So we'll be refinancing that property with the commercial mortgage.
So I just want to like take a step back, just because if someone is listening and hasn't done a JV, are you able to just like explain how each of them actually technically works? Like not in so much detail, but I'm guessing like option one is it's there's an active partner, there's a passive partner, it's 50-50. They bring the money, they bring the financing, they're on title. Behind the scenes, you've got an agreement saying it's 50-50 or whatever. That's option one. Is that about what you guys have? Okay. And then option two, are you able to explain how option two works?
Option two, the commercial one?
Yeah.
So it's similar. We have a partner who is going to be both. So he has the money to purchase and do the renovations. And
To step back a second, just about all, maybe not all, but most of the partners right now, we didn't use their money for the initial purchase. We're using private money, hard money for the purchase. We're using the partner money for the renovations. And then we do the refinancing, get the private money paid first, and when we do the refinancing. So we're not requiring the partners to come up with the full purchase of the building for cash, and we're not even requiring them to come up with the financing for the purchase. We're financing the purchase with hard money, and then private money, and then doing the refinancing after that. So the partner really only has to come up with the renovation money. It's a lot.
That's very different.
Yeah, that is actually very different than most JVs, because the fact that they don't have to come up with the finance. So you're essentially putting the property in a corporation then, and are you both on 50-50 in that corporation, or are you then passing it off to them on the refi? How does that play out? I don't know.
we're all on title.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, cool. Sorry, Francois, I didn't mean to cut you out, but I had a thought, and I was just like, I'm just curious what the rest of the answer is.
Yes, no, I agree. Me too, because I do a lot of JVs, and that's a very different way. Normally, it would be exactly like Sarah described it. The partner comes in with the money, renovation money, they qualify for the mortgage, and then they qualify for the refinancing as well. And on the commercial side, same thing. If I do a corporation, just like you guys are doing, they come up with the money. We qualify for the mortgage because it's commercial. Really, it's the building that qualifies. Maybe our net worth. Sometimes you need a stronger net worth statement because you're buying a much larger building. So you need someone with a few millions in the bank somewhere. And then the refi, same thing. So the partners help qualify on the new price. So those are quite new, your JVs. Do you have a term? I usually have like a 5-year term. Do you guys have some sort of expectations, or?
We all want long-term buy and holds. So when we enter into the agreement, the goal is to hold it for as long as we want. So the term of the mortgage.
Minimum the 5 years. We'd like that to be the minimum, and then we can decide, have a discussion if we want to go further or sell it. But generally, the minimum requirement would be for the first term of the mortgage, the first 5 years.
Awesome. Well, let's take a little bit of a pivot. I'm just curious when it comes to the renovations and what you look for and what the renovations that you've done has worked out the best or brought the most value. Maybe Joey, if you want to answer that one.
Yeah, well, we're looking for generally pretty run-down places that require a lot of forced equity. So that's also what helped inspire us to find private money for the purchase, because the banks were a little bit reluctant to lend on some of these places that had knobby tube wiring or a bad foundation or a roof that was leaking. So, doing it with private money made it a lot faster, a little bit quicker on our feet, get the place, get it renovated, and then, the partners could approve for the mortgage once it was all renovated, but banks didn't, just humming and hawing when they see, aluminum wiring or knob and tube and stuff. And it's like, but we're going to do it. We're going to fix it right away. And it was a hard sell. So yeah, we're looking for fixer-uppers big time. That's where we're getting the most value.
Thanks for listening to the REITE Club podcast and joining our community of real estate investors online at thereiteclub.com, where the focus is about helping you grow. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks from your hosts, Sarah Larby and Alfonso Salemi.